some mighty Hulk toes.
Hey, what's up, you guys? Short Miss Prime here doing another Transformers figure review on the Transformers 4 Age of Extinction Voyager class Slog. If you're trying to get your Transformers figures, you can get them at Big Bad Toy Store. Big! Get your big badass toys at BigBadToyStore.com. Click the link in the description below. We get our standard Voyager class packaging over here. Pretty cool picture of Slog with his neck all bendy and everything. And then on the side it says Transformers, and then on the back we get both modes and then the bio on Slog. If you want to read that, pause it now. Also available Voyager class drift, which I do have. Big thanks to my ankle breaking brother for that one. Anyway, let's get to it and crack this thing open. It's Slog, it's better than bad. It's good. I had to throw that reference out there, but this is a very, very cool looking figure, man. Can you say cannons? He's got cannons on the back, cannons right here on the shoulders. They look great, and he's got a fake ab crunch to do the transformation. Let's get a 360 of the figure right over here. You can see that Apatosaurus neck head kind of falling over there, but still a little bit of gappage. It looks pretty cool. Anyway, let's take a closer look at the weapons. And it comes with two of these guys over here, and these just plug into his shoulders. They're sculpted okay. They have that shingling effect going on, and you just plug it right into the shoulder like so, and kaboom. That's pretty cool. I guess you could plug it into his hand too if you want him holding these instead. Yeah, that doesn't really work out. It looks like he's about to shoot himself in the face. Or if I switch the sides that are supposed to go in from the shoulders into the hands, it actually doesn't look too bad. Or you can plug these guns right into his back too. So many possibilities. I don't remember exactly what these are called, but I think they're for jousting. They look like those jousting sword things, you know, when the guys ride the horse and they try to knock each other off. Yeah, so they look pretty cool though. I like this. Again, that shingling effect going on. And then we get a point of articulation over here. This moves up and down. So you can have it like this where he's holding it, or you can have it like this where it plugs into his back. I mean, seeing him hold these like this looks pretty cool, but we already have Slug and Strafe that have their own swords, so I'm probably going to have mine displayed with them attached to the back right here. Then these rotate right here on the back, these two black pieces. You can see the hole right over, there's the other hole, and then you just take this port right over here, this peg, it goes into one of those holes, and then boom, there you go, you get a shoulder cannon, and then it also rotates over here, so you could get that action going on or tilt it up and down. I really like the amount of articulation we can get with these things. I really like the head sculpt on this figure. I like this night look that they have going on. I really like how this guy has some black mixed in there with the teal colored visor. I think that is looking really, really sharp. I really like how the mouthpiece section on the head sculpt has some nice silver paints applied to it. It's a very nice color gray that they're using on this figure too. It's almost like a silverish kind of gray. And as we look at the rest of the figure, I just love this design with all these spikes coming in and out, especially on the shoulders over here. We have some more on his calves, which we'll look at in a second. The red looks really good. I think the red is fairly consistent throughout the figure, even though it's on different parts of plastic. You know, sometimes the plastic material changes and the red looks incredibly different, but it's pretty consistent on this guy. He's got an Autobot logo right there on his forearm, and we have some silver paint, and we've got those Apatosaurus toes, and then we get this little skirt thing, which is the only weird looking part of the figure to me. I think that looks weird in pictures. I always thought that looked a little strange. You can't really have them sticking outward. You can't really rotate them, so yeah, it's just kind of stuck like that. He has a little Autobot logo on the right arm as well, and then looking at the rest of the figure, I just think it looks really cool. He's got this little skirt thing going on. He's got these big beefy legs, and then those really pointy night boots right there. You can see how they kind of flip up a little bit. And looking on the back, there's those spikes that I was just talking about. And then we have this whole thing with the Apatosaurus head kind of, I don't know, getting tucked away. You know, talk about some culo a boca. That's a little cochino-ness right there, I think, but I don't know what else to do. Yeah, yeah, that's a little nasty. I really like the head articulation on this figure. It can rotate side to side. It can look up all the way. I think that is really cool. It can look down just a little bit, and you do get a little bit of neck pivot in there, so good head articulation. And he has some shoulders that move outward only that much. They can rotate forward. He has a bicep swivel. He bends in at the elbow 90 degrees, and he has no wrist articulation. I really wish he had wrist articulation because it makes it kind of weird when he's holding his weapons. He does have a bit of a waist joint, which I really like, and he has this fake ab crunch, as I mentioned earlier. That is super cool. I love ab crunches on Transformers. Last time I saw that was on the Masterpiece Sideswipe figures. Anyway, his hips can move all the way outward. He can kick forward quite a bit. I wish he could kick, oh, there you go. Just shimmy it up there like that. He has this above the knee swivel. He bends less than 90 degrees at the knees, and then the ankles just move down and up. And unfortunately, he does not have any ankle pivot. Now to the top of Slog's head, he's just under 7 inches tall, but to the top of this point over here, it's just a little over 7 inches. Here's Slog compared to the SDCC Voyager class Grimlock figure, and even though they're both Voyager class figures, I'm glad that Grimlock does stand taller than Slog over here. I was a little worried about that. He's got to stand taller, man. He Grimlock King. Here's Slog compared to the Marvel Legends Big Time Letdown Spider-Man. And then here's Slog compared to my G1 Sludge figure, which I've always really liked a lot. And I think it's also really cool that aside from the SDCC exclusives, this guy is the most G1 accurate with his paint scheme. And here's Slog compared to the rest of the SDCC set. I really hope I can get the SDCC Slog. I missed out on the pre-order at BBTS. Eventually, I hope I can get it though. But seeing all 5 of these original G1 Dinobots with this Transformers 4 movie design just looks really, really cool. Again, Hasbro's played a prank on us where they've given us the figure in robot mode, but give us directions that only show you how to transform him from dinosaur mode into robot modes. But you got your boy Shartimus Prime to help you out here, and Bumblebee. So what do you take us away, Bumblebee? Okay, so the first thing you want to do is swing the Apatosaurus head all the way up like that. And then we're going to take the shoulders, and there's a hinge right over here, and another hinge over there. We're going to move these outward, and then spread the arms outward. Take in the hands and push him forward in, and we get some Apatosaurus legs. And we're going to make sure that this torso section totally spreads out. There's a couple of hinges in here, so we're going to make this come all the way outward over here. That's why we got that ab crunch in his robot mode. You want to take the thigh joints, you want to rotate them all the way around over here, and we're going to take these tail pieces, move them all the way outwards, and then we're going to swing this around, and then swing this around like so. He has these kneecap joints that you want to remove, and then you can spread that out all the way. Do the same thing on this side. Spread this piece out all the way. We're going to take his rear legs and move that down. Same thing on this side over here, and then we're going to move his robot mode boots inward. And those are going to tuck in over there. And then we're going to hinge this down and do the same thing to the other side. Hinge that down, and that's gonna make this collapse upward over here. And it gets a little flimsy because there's a lot of like rubberized kind of plastic pieces on this figure. Like for instance, this whole red section right here, these are very rubbery plastic, but they still have tabs that connect over here. So you can get that tab together. And then this piece right here is a rubbery material as well. And then get these tabs together for the end of the tail. And then we have this chest section over here. You want to make sure that this gray piece and this gray piece interlock together. So there's that, yeah, it's kind of at a weird angle, but you can see how they connect right over there. And then this is pretty much it. And then you just have to finagle everything. And unfortunately, this is a very soft piece too, and it's bent sticking upward, but you can tuck it in the arms over here so that it can stay in place. You kind of want to make sure that the legs are kind of hiding this gap area. That's one part of the transformation that I don't really like. That's one of the most frustrating things for me, is that we get this weird gap, but it's not too bad. All you gotta do is just tuck that in and make sure it stays into place. And you know, it's not a really bad looking Apatosaurus mode. Okay, I got it more or less cleaned up over here, and I think it actually does look pretty cool. There's, you know, just this area over here bothers me, but you know, when you're just looking at it, it doesn't really look too bad. These rear, it's just as soon as you start moving it around, this gets really, really wobbly. So I love that joint for when he's in his robot mode, but not in his dino mode. But still, it's a pretty cool looking Apatosaurus. It looks a little bit more like a Brachiosaurus to me. I don't know how well you know your dinosaurs. I loved dinosaurs when I was a kid, so I remember Brachiosaurs had this little piece right up over here, and they had the much taller straight up necks. And not a bad head sculpt on this guy either. They gave him the blue eyes. We get some nice silver right there on the front of him. Doesn't look too, that's kind of a weird look, but when you look at it from the side, it doesn't look too bad at all. And he does have jaw articulation, so I like that added feature. You can see he has some sharp teeth in there. That looks pretty good. The neck looks pretty nice on this guy. We get these two huge knobs, which I thought would really bother me, but they don't really bother me so much when he's in his dino mode. You know, same kind of thing with the robot mode. I really like the color scheme of this gray and red. It just looks really good, and I like how the belly looks to him. I mean, this is a staple dinosaur. You gotta have your herbivore, your giant herbivore. It's just really cool that they did this. Even though he's not in the movie, I'm really glad that they've made him. But I think it looks pretty dope, man. I always thought Sludge was really cool. And then here's his back feet and everything, his front legs right here. So yeah, not too bad. And actually looking at the figure dead on looks really cool to me. I really like how it worked out with the Autobot logos facing forward, and he's got those big dino toes. Now I already showed the jaw articulation, but his head can move up and down a little bit as well. And then you get some movement right over here. We get some rotation at the neck right over here too, which I really like. And then a lot more movement right here on this neck joint. So you can, that looks like his neck is broken. That's kind of weird. And then his legs move outward, and you can move him forward as well. And he does bend backwards at the knee, so that's pretty cool. He has this torso joint, which doesn't really count. That's a little frustrating, like I said earlier. earlier. His rear legs can only bend at the knee a little bit, and that's really all the articulation he has. And you can still have him hold his weapons while he's in his dino mode, so he can be fully armed, which is pretty neat. You know, you've seen pictures of him where he's got these guys all the way over here, which I don't know. I think it looks kind of weird. It's a little excessive having these really long jousting poles right over here while having the really long neck. It's just like a lot of stuff over here going on. I think it's a little too much. Even when I saw pictures, I thought this looked a little too crazy. I don't know. I don't think. Now, from nose to tail, I want to say he's at about 8.5 inches across, and toes to head, he stands just over 7 inches tall. Here's Slog compared to my G1 Sludge in his dino mode. I always thought the Brontosaurus was pretty cool. Well, what's the deal with that Brontosaurus anyway? Apparently, it doesn't actually exist. It's just the Apatosaurus. But yeah, here they are side by side. And here's Slog displayed with the rest of my Bayformers Dinobots, and I think it just looks really, really cool. I have my one-step changer Slash right in there to kind of fit into scale, and all we're waiting for now is Snarl. That's the only one we need left with his actual movie colors, then we'll have our complete 7 Dinobots. Anyway, I really like this figure. I totally recommend it. It is an awesome Voyager class figure. I really like it a lot, and I also hope you guys liked my video. If you did, please hit the like button, leave a comment, don't forget to subscribe, and check out tformers.com for the latest in Transformers news and a photo gallery of images from this review. I will catch you guys later. Peace.
Spark. Welcome to Articulated Comic Book Art.
That's crispy.
He doesn't.